All right, we're just going to try and build something with Bolt.new. Let me get this out of here. We don't need to see myself. Let me share my screen, and then I'll share my reasoning. Sorry, first time doing this, and no one's here, so it doesn't matter. Okay, keeping it simple and then taking it further. So what we're going to do is use it to build something. Now, this is a very simple something, but it's a good something, and it actually isn't that simple. So let's do this. We're going to build an app that will allow me to make a quick one-off sharing. So I can say, hey, here's my password, or here's this thing I want you to look at. And then the person can get a link to it, and then they can use it. And after an hour, they can't use it anymore. So it'll be like that type of sharing experience. And I'm not going to speak as I type. So I'll type quickly, but I hate when people read what they're typing. It's just all over the place, and it's driving me. It's kind of funny. All right, let's give it a go. And I'm going to use Netlify because it's integrated, and I want to keep this simple. We'll do more later. I have no clue. And it might come up with things I'm not thinking about. And I think I'm logged in. Yeah. So my goal is, as a developer, um, I want to see how far I can go with it. I'm not going to treat it like I'm a person who doesn't code. I'm going to be someone who codes, but if it can build it for me, with me, then great. And we'll just see how far it goes. I've built a few things. Well, it's generating it. I'll show you some of the simple things I built, which are fine. They're simple. You can put a URL in here. It goes and analyzes the URL to think about what SEO it should have, and then it gives you a list of those things. And this uses N8N in the background to do some of the more complex backend stuff. But even that gets funny because with this tool building stuff for me, there's a fine line between, hey, the tool can build this backend stuff versus, hey, I'll just click on N8N. And N8N, though, has some amazing tooling and AI agent stuff that you can build in a very complex or simple chain. So you can say, chain is even a bad word, basically an LLM agent that can have numerous tools to get the job done. So in this case, there isn't much of a tool. It's just a bunch of text I give it after I scrape the website. Well, that's running, other fun stuff like this where I can calculate time saved if people do automation. Like it just was able to spit these out very easily, my video site to show what videos I'm going to be working on, and on and on and on. So you can see how I can pull things off. Now the experience is nice. Look at this. I have a preview. I have a terminal when I need to. We'll see that in a moment. I can watch it work and deploy it. Let's get it working as far as we can and see how it works. And then we'll deploy it. And And then we'll get into a flow there because I think there it loses a little cohesion. But then I pull out cursor.io and boom, I'm back in business. Um, there's an open source version of Bolt I'll tackle before long too, because I mean, it is open source, but these people took it way further. Um, and there's a lot of videos on that. So, what could my self hosted version of this do even better? And I'll tackle that shortly. So, basically, we made this thing. Let's see what happens. Okay, copy link. And let's go. I'll go to incognito mode. Ah, so in order to see your preview, you need to connect this tab to its project to avoid seeing the screen. You can figure. Um, that's interesting. I don't know, and this is why we're doing it live. Let's see what happens if that's a weird limitation of me hosting something. So let's go deploy this. Let's just walk through the process. Okay, I'm going to deploy it. But I don't want to keep it deployed. We're going to keep coding here as if we didn't deploy it. And in the thing we're doing without me knowing it, because this is live, um, we'll see. It might have needed something that had to be deployed. So now it's going to have me claim this. I'm going to do this in another browser. So basically, I'm going to click this to claim it. And then you just go through this process. Because I already have a Netlify account, it's going to let me claim it. And let me see, where is this guy? Obviously, I have too many. If I can't find it, what is today? The 22nd. Okay, here it is. So this is the Netlify. It gives me a link to the particular thing, and we'll go through this. We'll do a whole GitHub deploy everything, so it just will be like real. But I'll do some DNS stuff that eventually I won't have to do. So here's the hosted version. Let's see if this works. Okay, and you're going to see a problem as we get deeper in the weeds, but it's nothing big. It's like all this stuff is progress. So, okay, page not found. Look like the following link is broken. So let's let the chat system know that. All right. So we're going to say, um, and so again, this is live. Uh, let's see the process because it isn't perfect. But what I think is interesting is that, you know, these systems couldn't do fingers right a year or two ago, like when generating images. So this stuff just gets better and better quickly. All right. I understand the issue. We need to configure Netlify to handle client-side routing properly. React router. Let's add the redirects file to fix this 404. Now, this site has been redeployed. I didn't know they could do that. I don't know if they really did. So that's one of the drawbacks. And like I said, they're getting there. So this was published 933. It's 935. If I was to reload that, I don't think that's going to change. No, okay. So I don't think it's right. But let's go back to Bolt and just see if we have anything more here. Copy. And let's go to incognito mode just so we don't mess up with anything by accident to think that it's working and it's not. In order to see your preview, you need to connect this tab to its project. All right, so I haven't dealt with a preview before, so this is good or not good. So open the website. Let's see what it says there. Oh, it redeployed it to a whole different. This is the tricky part, and we'll come back to this in a moment. And I will make a note because I want to come back to it. How do we get it to where we want it consistently? It's not hard. It's not hard at all. I just want to get something working. So we'll call it test 004 so we kind of can keep track of it. So here's our thing. I copy the link. we go into incognito mode, which I cannot remember for URLs. And then the next URL. All right. Pulling out the backend, pulling out the need for Netlify's functions. We're just going to use an 8N. Though I think the other one's interesting. I just would have to take it further and maybe suffer alone through it a bit. So, okay. I'm going to click deploy again. I'm going to take over a new, later on, I'm going to take over a new Netlify so I can deploy this and share it later on. But for now, we're just going to see how far we can get locally or inside the browser. All right, so it's removing things, it's doing things. It made a page, ran the build, and it's going to do preview. Okay, so now because I did this in N8N, let's see, did we save this? Okay, so N8N is going to do nothing right now, but that's okay. We're going to listen for that, and then we're going to say, okay, here we are. Then we'll go test to 0, 1, 2, or whatever I'm at. And an embedded page, blah, 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 says failed to create. Okay, so then let's go see if we got something here. Click to copy. Oh, right, sorry. Actually, I don't think it made it, but just by the way, I meant to do a post. And I don't think it made it because we would have gotten some traffic there. And let's just hit it again, but I don't think it worked. Okay, 404. I don't think it worked though. Let's find out in a moment. Don't know why an embedded page at says fail to create share. Please try again. I don't know if it looks like a leftover message. I don't know what we get out of this for the console. Let's try it again. Oh, not found. Interesting. Oh, and it tried to do that. So it's trying to do things. It actually, let's clear this out. So it says it's making the request. So, oh, it made it. Cool. So we're here. So now we're going to back away from the UI for a moment and come to the here and finish this. Okay. So let's pin it so we don't have to keep doing that. And we're going to say, okay, great. It's created a share. And we just want to make the database, make the place to save it and whatnot. Let's see, how can we do this? I use Supabase a lot, so I can just do that really quick instead of spinning up a database. So I'm going to go to Supabase, one moment. And you don't need Supabase. You could just use you can just use a local Postgres. I don't know if I have a local Postgres on that server. Like that server could easily have its own Postgres, as you can see. So what I want to do is go back to here and no, I don't want to do that. Sorry. Database. Databases. Where are you? Yeah, I'll do it with you. I'll do it in front. I don't think I'll leak too much here. And again, I don't know if I recommend Supabase. It has some good ways of it has some good ways of like, look at that's pretty expensive. So, I don't know if I'd keep it this way. You know, you could easily just have a DigitalOcean Postgres running, honestly. And I gotta go cancel those other things. Here we go. Where are you? Oh, it could have generated a password for me. Cool, cool. All right. So it has some keys and stuff we want to not show. And I'll use Claude to help me go through this a bit when we step out of Bolt. All right, so let's do our Supabase. Actually, I want to probably take that information and just tweak it for a moment. So we're going to go edit. And we're going to say, okay, what do we care about? Now, later on, we'll block this endpoint. But for now, we want this guy here, right? And like we could say if webhook URL is not from, or if the refer is not one of ours, we can block it. We'll come back to that later. That's all we really want, though. Okay, so, and then we're going to say Supabase. Could do a vector show or not. Create a row, Supabase account. Now I have an account set up, but I want to set up a new one. And let me just do that right now. Create a new one, give it a decent name. Project, I think they call it. And put in my host. And this one I might get wrong. I had it in front of me a moment ago. But we will suffer together. I'll show you what I'm doing in a moment. So here I go into API. I'm going to grab that, put it here, and then grab this one here. So I'm grabbing this one right here. I'll put that there. And what's nice is we'll see. Well, it seems pretty long. Let's see what happened. It worked. Okay. But we might not be able to query the data till we add a quick security protocol, which is really easy. We'll look at it in a moment. So we want to create a row in the table. We didn't make our table yet. So let's go do that. Table editor, create a new table, shares, shared post. So if we take a step back, Bolt spit out a site, we put it in and back to Bolt, you're going to see we've just stepped into a different realm of easiness. So in this case, we're going to do add a column. We'll call it UUID. It's going to be okay. Random. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so we'll learn stuff from this because I showed you how little I know. And then we'll call this we'll leave it called text because I don't really think it matters. And we'll do this one because I want it to be big. Now, it doesn't have policies in place, so I might get rejected when I try to write to it. We will find out in a moment. And just to refresh things, I'm going to go here and we're going to go to shares and we'll define below each column. What we want is the UUID. No, we want the text. We want to grab the text from here, throw it here, and then test. It let me do it and it returned something. Let's pin that something over here. So now we want to return back to that guy something. So let's go back to here. I think we want the webhook reply, webhook respond. So we want to then respond and we want to say JSON and we want to say UUID. And the UUID would be this guy. So you see how easy this is versus all that other stuff I was doing. If I can clip this down, I will, because this is way more fun. So we're going to reply to that with that. So We got to tell our webhook, though, to not respond immediately, but wait using the last node. And that is about it. We could do authentication, but then we're showing it in the UI, so it gets a little bit harder. We could block things at the Cloudflare level or whatever. I can show that later. So we now have a way to send a request and do all this. If we test the flow, we can then go back to Bolt.new. And let's get rid of all these tabs because I hate having tabs. Okay. And we'll start to see our data show up here. So let's refresh. And that's probably the one we sent in. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now let's go back to here and say we've hooked it up. We don't have to tell it. And so now we're going to do 14. We'll create a link. And we get that error message, but I know why. So what is going on here is very simple. And it's because when you we haven't done, yeah, okay, we have some logic to do. So basically, because I'm in test mode, I didn't publish this yet. Only the testing one worked. So if I spin this up and say listen, I have to unpin my data, no big deal. Now it's listening. So it wasn't listening a moment ago because it was only in test mode. So now we do this, but it's not going to get results back. So it might wait forever, but don't worry about that. But we see here the data came in just like we were hoping for, and it might have made it all the way through, but let's not worry about that either. So now we're going to say change this to our production URL because we're kind of done with this one. Let's go fix the other one, right? And let's go finish this guy. So basically, a webhook will come in. Oops. And we want to take that webhook and we're going to add the edit field here. We're going to go look in a moment. We'll do that in a moment. Oh, did it not let me? Yeah, hold on. Because we don't know what it's going to look like yet. So let's go do this. I think the payload is just going to be a UUID. Let's go find out, though. Let's just go do it. We're going to listen for testing now on our return, okay? And let's give it a moment. Okay. 10.05. And then it's going to not work, but we're going to get to freeze that data coming in here, I think. And it should be a get, so that should work. So you would think this would have gone through here. You think it would have worked here if I saved everything. And if I go to executions, this might have been one of my previous executions, but this is nice because we can see them. So if this is working right, it should have hit that. So let's go look. We can always look at the code, look at create the endpoint, get endpoint. It looks like it did a good job there. And this guy, we just removed the test when we're ready, but we won't worry about it now. So it should have worked. It's live, it's saved. The last one is 10:33. So let's run it again to see if it's freezing there. Go back to preview, test 16. And if we look at our executions, we're still at 10:33. So it didn't make it, okay? So let's see if we have anything here. Here we go. Did I paste something wrong? Let's see. Well, I can actually just copy it over. One moment. Let's go to the editor. Let's go to here. Let's go to here. Copy that. So I've copied that over. I'm going to go here and go to code. So we know this one works. And I'm going to actually, So this is our get shared. So I'm going to set it to listening. Not that it matters. I don't think we never made it that far. All right, so now I'm going to go back to preview. Well, I'm assuming when I refresh that code, it will work. It's a big assumption. I don't know if it reloads npm. I think it does. Because I didn't refresh that, okay. So did it go to here, right? So back to here. This is production. This is live. If I look at executions, we have a 1033, which was from before. So it didn't go. Now look at blah, blah, blah. So I want to try again. Initial post is not to, just so I don't paste it wrong. It's not making it there because we see that. Oops. I paste the production URL. I'm just going to tell it. Yeah, interesting. Let's see what happens. Here we have a terminal just for a thought, because I don't know if I watched it to do a reload on my updates, but just curious. Yeah, it's running Veet. Probably did. And I have my own terminal. That's interesting. Not that I would know what to do there. Okay. Oops, let me see what I said. Okay. Make sure this is running. It's listening. Production's production. We can watch the executions. Let's give it a go. Nothing. So again, it's not even hitting our first route. So it hit it a moment ago, so we know it can do it. But for some reason, it did not hit it there. Okay. Timed out. Timed out. So let's see if I can get into this interface better. One moment. It's good we can see this. This is, well, it's pretty normal. So let's see. So we're hitting this guy. And it says it timed out. So if I would, oh, right. Okay. So, annoying. Sorry. So basically, my bad. Because my instance is not configured like it should be, we have an error. And I'm going to show you what that error is in a moment. See this? This should not be here. I got to remove that from the configuration file. See, the other one didn't do it. So my bad. Okay. So now the question is, did it let me click save. Oops. There. Yeah, Veet update. Cool, cool. I don't think I clicked save last time. So that's interesting. So that is why I had the wrong port, and I don't know why it does it. I have to look. Okay, good. I don't mind a 404. So that's because we didn't fix the other thing, right? But now we have an execution that should be sooner, okay? We got the data in, and it did it. If we go to Supabase, it is there. So let's refresh. There it is, okay? And now we just got to make this guy work. And it said 404 because it just said, hey, I'm done waiting. So let's go tell it to start again. And we just want some data here so we can know what it's expecting. Okay, so test 019. Oops. And now it worked, but let's see what happens. So we have our next execution. Okay. And we have this. So let's do this. We are going to save this and look at it. So and I usually like JSON. So it came in like we're expecting with a UID parameter, which is what we want. Now, we can easily do something here. So we want to say, hey, reply at the end. So we have to add that end. And we're going to say these are the fields we care about, which might not even be needed, honestly. But I'm going to do this. Okay. And then I'm going to do a Supabase query, get a row. And we're going to go to the wrong one. See how I have the idea one here? I think we don't see that here, and we should. Here we go. So we're going to get a row from the shared table, and we're going to add a condition where UID equals that UID we put in there. And let's see, what is the results of that? So we get a result. What if we don't get any? Something to think about. So we'll have to think about that one. We'll come back to that because I want to return a 404. Okay, so now what we want to do is ask Cloud a question. So let's go over here. And we're going to take that data and pass it to just some code for a moment. And we're going to say, so I'm just going to do this here. Let's see if it works. I have no clue what that was about. I'm not sure the best way to do this, but before I do this, I want to see what I can do in an if statement. Yeah, I wonder if I could just do that. I'm really curious now. Let's get rid of this. If created at date time is before. I never get this one right after. I'm making an expression. I just need to generate the right formatted time. Wow. That works. That'd be pretty cool. Okay. On false, we'll return a webhook, and I don't know what we should return here. I'll return I will return this. Let's just do something. I'd rather return a 404. I'm not sure how to do that though. So let's just try something here. Expired. Let's call it status. Expired. Okay. But if it's true, we will do another webhook. Okay. And we want to do JSON status. We'll call it active. And then we'll say UID. And what we can do, Oh, true is a Boolean. I was right, right. Yeah, it's a bummer. That'd be awesome if I could do that. So I should be able to just do this. And unless I have this wrong, it should work. So let's give that a go. Okay. So this guy, though, now, I like this. So let's go back to this for a moment. I'm going to just make sure I return a UUID no matter what. We'll just say none in that case. Okay. So now I want to say, okay, we have this data, and I need to give it the UUID so it knows where to send the person to. And I'll give it the text. Yeah, that would help. Hold on. And then the text. And let's do this. And you can kind of start seeing, yes, someone will come in and say you can SQL inject or blah, blah, blah. Not even that. You could make a return of JSON, but we can JavaScript, but we can fix that. Again, build, measure, learn. Build a little, see if it works, move on. So now we're going to do that. And okay, so we kind of have this idea of what we can return. I'm going to test it. Pretty simple, so I know it works. I'm going to turn it live. I'm going to go get the live URL, which has the port, so I get to go fix that. I fixed the other one, but I didn't fix that in the previous fail I had. So now we're going to, actually, I can just remove the word test. That's all it really is. Okay. I want to save these, so in case it overwrites them, I don't have to do anything special. Okay. We'll save. Now, so that should work. Oh, I'm going to tell it. Okay. API returns. By the way, when the get API, yeah, it is interesting. JSON, it will be like this. If status equals expired, console. I don't use this much on the right, so I'll keep it closed for now, but it's definitely come in handy. Give it a moment. All right, so we'll get a preview in a moment. We'll try it the whole way through. So just give it a moment. Preview. Sometimes preview takes a moment. We'll see what happens. I want to deploy this too, so let's see if we can go all the way with this. Let's just click this. Oh, maybe sometimes we get an error. No, it looks good. Crazy how it just does its own preview. I don't know what this is. Oh, it's interesting. Oh, it's still this one. Who knows if it's even been updated. I don't quite understand that. Let's go try it. I'm just curious while we wait for the other one. Yeah, I don't even know if I'd have really updated that one, to be honest with you. I'm going to save that just in case I forgot to. And it's 4051, so no, it didn't. I'm going to ignore that. So I want to know why this didn't preview. Let's just reload it again. Oops. Let's just let it do its thing. Then I want to deploy and own this. So I want to make sure that doesn't get messed up. Look at, keeps doing that. Done. I'm going to tell it, hopefully that will update its memory. So yeah, I would want to make those environment variables, obviously it doesn't matter right now. All right, let's see what happens here. Okay, does the preview show up? It did, cool. And then we'll go test 020 because I have no clue. And we'll do this. Well, let's just run it. Test 20, okay, copy the link. I'll open up an incognito browser. And we still have this issue, but we might be getting into the weeds of like how to, multiple previews. So let's deploy this. I want to deploy it, but if it doesn't let me take it over, I'll do it the other way that I was doing it a moment ago. Yeah, it's insistent. I've never seen it do this, by the way. Oh, here it is. Perfect. This is what I wanted. So I wanted to do this to give me the one-off link. So let's go grab that. And identify. And let's see, we've now taken ownership of it. The sorting here is not that great. So let's go look at it. Okay. So let's take this all the way now. Let's first make sure it works, which I think it might. We'll find out. Create a link. We got it. And then if that works, there we go. So that was cool. Seems like it took a while, but like why I should be able to click this. Now that's the tricky part. How do I get into that flow with Bolt? And I don't know if there's an easy way right now. This is where I would just download it and use it. So what I'm going to do is download this code. But we're so out of sync with the previous work we just did. I'm just going to kind of nuke that. So I'm going to do the same thing I did a moment ago, which was move that into my code folder. Oops, did not mean to do that. Okay. And then I'll open it up in Cursor to finish the deployment process. And it's working, so there's not much we have to do, honestly. Let's see, I'm going to go make that GitHub repo again. Oops. And I'll remove that other site. So we'll call it shared v2 public sharing. And then we'll go create it. And then I'll copy it. And then I'll go to the terminal. Let's go to the terminal. And I'm going to, just to keep it simple, I'm going to go, you know what, let's get rid of that. And git add, git commit. Okay. So now we've pushed it here, but let's go back to that Netlify account. And this is the latest one, I think. And yep, because we haven't done anything yet. Here we go. And we're going to Oh, this was the first one. So let's just do the deed here. Delete. Delete. Okay. Let's go grab the one we just made 3 minutes ago. Red Tumba. And it kept doing this. So maybe it was able to keep track of it. I haven't, things have gotten better. So maybe now it can do this. I don't know why it didn't give me the share link to begin with. So, okay. Deploys, deployment settings, link it to a repository, GitHub. And then we'll call it shared. Shared. And we want shared. Oops. I did make it public. Let's go double check. Settings. Private. Oh, here it is. Perfect. Okay. That's what we want. Oh, I think I was looking at a different search because it popped up. Okay. We want this one. And we want to just accept the defaults. I could add environment variables, but I don't need to. So now we don't have a domain name yet, but we can do that after. So now it's deployed. I think we've already been to this URL before, but we'll go look for 022. We'll even start the counting up higher. And so there you go. So now if we go to Supabase, there we go. There we go. Okay. So, so we got that done. Now there's things I want to fix, but you just saw how hard that could get to be like, hey, make this look clickable and things like that. But we will fix those. I'm going to move it in a cursor because, like, watch. I'll show you what's wrong here, and I'm sure they're working on it. But can you make the logo, which is a nice logo, clickable? So it goes back. And all those details, like I want a footer that says by DailyAi.Studio. Again, I'll give it, I won't even give it the code. But this is great, but until it's not, because how do we get this up there? And this is what I'm going to get at. So I really like this flow, and I like the preview, and I know you can run it locally. So I'm going to close cursor here, and I'm going to go back to Warp. And I'm going to just open cursor here. And so cursor could be doing this stuff for us, and we can preview it in our browser pretty easily. That is one very simple option. So if I go here and we have the latest code. We can see it here working. We should. Okay. And then we can do the test local, and it should all work. Okay. And that's fine. And I can ask cursor to fix those things. So, but I could also say, Bolt did it. It's nice interface, not perfect. And it said, hey, I updated these pages. So you could just copy those over. And so when I copy those over, let's just do it because I already did it. So it'd be, and I don't like this. I'm trying to say I wish they had a better way. View page to get this experience and deploy. Like, if I do deploy, it might not even go to the one I was at. So, but now if I do git add, git commit, And then we go to Netlify. Again, you could do this on your own really easily. We should get a deployment heading right now, starting up. Oh, that one failed. Interesting. Hmm. I'd have to see why. That's interesting. I don't know why. Let's see if this one fails. If it does, you know, I'll be surprised. But this is because we have so much code left over from what we were doing before instead of this nice simple site. So eh, I might make this a shorter video for some other releases. But yeah, look at that. I have never had this many problems, and it's okay. So fail. Great UI though. Jeez. So we don't need Xdata anymore. So it's just a good example of how um, it's holding on to some stuff that I didn't want it to. Again, this or cursor at this point, you'll see the advantages and disadvantages. So great, let's remove that from packages. And all I did was do, oh, it updated a few things. So let's go through it. I mean, I don't even need an API anymore. Well, I guess I do. So it updated packages, which is here. I remove the data. Okay. I remove the data. Okay. So something went wrong deploying it to Netlify. I'm not too worried about that. So let's see. It updated package.json. So let's go grab that, throw it in the cursor. Again, I bet you I could have just asked cursor to do this. It updated Netlify toml, which whatever, it makes sense. Though I didn't see much of a change there. And it really we did this source lib API. So now we've updated this, and this, and build. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. Two vulnerabilities. That's interesting. We'll come back and I think it's just audit fix. And you get so many libraries, you get vulnerabilities. Okay. All right. So, it's working here. So I'm betting it's going to deploy okay, but we'll see. Could be more leftover stuff. Again, if this video has been edited to keep people from being bored for the version, I'm going to remove a lot of that Xdata stuff that it did, which is great, but I just kind of gave up on it because I was able to do it just as easily in N8N. So that's why you're seeing some cleaning going on. So let's see if this deploys. Such a good UI. Ah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't need these, so I'm going to go remove them. Again, it's a good example of like I'm not going to treat this like a no, like someone who doesn't know how to develop. I do, and let's see how that becomes an advantage. Netlify toml, run build test. Yeah, I removed those, but I don't know enough. Sorry, I'm super lazy when it comes to Git. Yeah, that's old. Okay. I mean, again, I don't care that I could have built this quicker in Laravel. Um, I've seen some people I know who aren't developers build some really cool, complex things with authentication and everything. So I know it can go to that level. So that's what I'm kind of pushing towards. All right, so it's deployed, it's clickable. We can put the footer there. So for example, I could tell cursor, let's get rid of that. Can you add this footer? DailyAi.Studio. Okay, and this will be the last one, and then I'll do domain name. Let's give it a go. Accept. Let's give it a go. Huh. Will it even make it in the right place? In this case, because we're local and not in Bolt, we have a little bit of an advantage. So let's see. Oh. So let's see. Man, this would have been so much easier if I didn't get diverted, because I think it's even confused. Huh. Okay. I don't think I need to reload that, so I'm kind of thinking it got confused. Oh, it's really ugly. Hold on. Sorry, I think my keyboard's having a moment. So I've shifted from Bolt to this for no good reason, just so you can see how you can do that. And there is a open source thing we'll go over later on. Okay, a little bit better. I wish it wasn't so down there, but let's not worry about that right now. Though it is tempting. All right, let's just deploy and get the domain name set up. While it's doing that, I'm going to go do the domain name so we can take this all the way. And that is not that hard. And it would be better if I had this API base with maybe Cloudflare. Settings. Domains. Okay. We want to deploy site domain management, add a domain, share.DailyAi.Studio. And then I want to, actually I meant to do it before, so let's do this. Subdomain. So I'm going to copy that. And the one gotcha here, which is not a big deal, is that it will pick up on it eventually. And if it doesn't pick on it right away, it's okay. As long as I set it up correctly. And the other thing though is the SSL will just start working, but sometimes it could just take an hour or more. So that's kind of neat. So I'm going to leave this alone for a moment. The DNS, it's all the DNS reality, right? We sometimes have to wait longer than we think. Just make sure I did it right though. Yeah, I had to set up a CNAME, and they explain it really easily, really well. But if I go here, geez, my keyboard is, this will, oh, it worked. It just didn't get verified yet. Okay, so now, unless something messed up those, oops, sorry, those URLs. Oh, we don't even need that anymore. There they are. Yeah, they look fine. Okay, let's give it a go. There we go. So yeah, I mean, I would say, wow, look that easy. But you can see how it could get easier if I learn some of the, well, even if I need to learn those other ones. Oh, look at that. Oh, because it's, might be because of this. Let me see. I'm curious now. Sometimes you can't do copy paste on the clipboard. If it's not secure, let's double check if that's true. Yeah, that one worked. So it should work. So I'm going to leave that to just be, I'm going to give that a moment. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Like, I think this is because something's wrong there, but I could be wrong. I'm going to go ask. Let's see. Okay, so that worked. Let's see if the SSL works now. It might take a moment. I think it automatically does that. So this will work. This guy here, I've had this happen before. But see, now it copies fine. It just needs, it can't be, I don't think it can be at HTTP. It's just a security issue. But now if I go copy that link, incognito, it's there. All right, so not too bad. I mean, we got a site hosted, up a domain name, which again, you could use Claude, you could build through it, you could do all this, but you saw Bolt to a visual idea to even make it a website that works. I shifted from the more complex backend it was trying to build, which actually looked kind of interesting. But then you saw N8N just take over and just say, yeah, I'll make a webhook, and then I'll make a webhook response here. The expired should work, but it's a great example. I could go in the database and test that. We could try that right now, actually. Where did that guy go? One moment. Let's do this. But then we would just take it further, right? If it didn't work. So here we are. If I go here and I go into the database, so that would be test live, probably the last one there. Oh, here it is. Let's set it to just yesterday. Huh, interesting. So let's see. I wonder if that messes up. That's interesting. I don't know what it's doing. Let's set it to a different day. So it's definitely an hour old. Okay. Then if we go back to here, let's see what we get. So you'd have to fix that logic. So let's go look. So this is actually good, even though I'll be cutting this video into 100 pieces. So if we look here, we have an execution moment, right? So if we reload this, our system calls out to this system. And then it says the if statement says, okay, you know, is it before the date? So let's see if we can do something here. Let's go see if I can. I've never done copy to editor, unpin. That's cool. So if we go to here, oh, not to there, sorry, to here, we would have to say, okay, why do you think that was before? So we obviously don't want to wait here an hour. So what I'm going to do is pin this here and edit it. And then just say, let's just turn this to a 10. I should turn that to a, yeah, that is the one I just made. Okay, good. So let's save that. So when it comes in to here, let's give us a little less room for a moment. So it's the 20th. So today is obviously created at, let's go expand this for a moment. So today is that date. So why is that that's coming in? Yeah. I'd have to see. Like, I just don't know enough about this. So let's say date. I'm just curious. I've never. So there's a false. Yeah, because everything was before. Okay. Yeah. So we've saved it. We've updated it. Sorry, dates throw my brain off. So this guy should do something besides show me it. Share expired. There you go. All right. So it was just I had the after before, and it was always working. All right, that easy to fix. All right, cool. So, all right, I hope it made sense. I hope you start to see the power of Bolt and N8N. And how you can diverge into the wrong path, come back, simplify it. But that wrong path actually looks interesting. I don't know if I'd come back to it right away, though. N8N does a lot of that. All right, I'm going to close up. Someone did join. I'm really bad at this. I'm looking at the wrong screen for